Well, hey, everyone. Happy Sunday. It's Tionap and
And Dr. Michael Gross, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being with us. I really appreciate it. And this session is brought to you by I Beat Her, Healing the Holes in Your Soul. I got to get the reflection out of this a little bit.
and
And
the Spiritual Primer, best book I've ever read, written by an amazing man.
and a very motivational healing book written by an amazing woman.
Oh, thank you.
And this is a must read, everyone. I know those who follow us, we talk about the books. It's really exciting. This book will actually open many doors for you. And the spiritual primer is getting ready to be completed at the book designer this next week, which is wonderful. And then it's going to go to the printer, and I'll keep you posted because there's new information in it. And the new information will have to do with the spiritual 12 transformational laws.
I'm
She's trying to.
interrupting.
She's
He's
trying to
hiding
push
behind
it.
my
I'm
back.
hiding.
He's hiding.
I'm
and
wondering what is she doing.
I want
So we're
everyone
having
to
fun
see.
here, everyone. So thank you.
I want everyone to see his face
Thank
because
you.
this is an excellent book. It opened my eyes to a lot about the world of spirituality. And oh my gosh, for those of you who have known me before I met Michael, you've already seen my changes and it just keeps getting better. So, on that note, I think we should start. We want to thank everybody for your Sunday, taking the time out of your Sunday to come to us and listen to our little frivolity, but his powerful message. Okay. So once again, I'm going to go ahead and put my book down, Michael.
All
You
right,
ready?
let's put our
All right.
books down.
Put our books down. Michael is, like I said, I cannot wait for his next book to come out.
Me neither. Second edition.
He's worked so hard. I can't wait. And, I'm looking forward to making sure that all of you also get your hands on a copy when it's ready. So we're going to keep you in the loop on that. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and start. Love the hat. I love the hat, though, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fabulous hats.
I think these are fabulous hats and very, very comfortable.
And if you're interested in them, they are for sale.
Far out, man.
Yeah, John Denver, far out.
Oops. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and give the formal introduction. We don't script anything here except this little piece so that I make sure I give credit where credit is due. And we will also make sure we're going to give you some phone numbers at the end of this presentation, but we're also going to make sure that they're in the comments so you have an opportunity to write them down as you're listening to us, okay? So here we go. Dr. Michael Gross is an author, professional keynote speaker, transformational coach, and an entrepreneur. For more than 3 decades, he's been on a spiritual path as an intuitive, a healer, a spiritual counselor, and a phenomenal teacher. Through the guidance of spirit, Michael has assisted others in their personal quest for self-empowerment, helping them to create the lives that they have long sought and to bring forth their intuitive abilities. Michael currently teaches classes in spirituality, self-empowerment, Reiki, and other modalities. In concert with God, the True Source, he has also achieved great success and miraculous healings. He remains humble, knowing that the work that he does all comes from God, the True Source. Michael currently lives in Lakewood, Washington, and has launched his nonprofit. And I'm going to go ahead and let you share a little bit about your nonprofit.
And it's called the International Institute of Self-Empowerment. And that's exactly what it is. And as you know very well, when Spirit came to me and said to start a nonprofit, which I did, and then didn't know what I was going to call it, I received the words the International Institute of Self-Empowerment, and it's to teach about self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. And since I had the honor of coaching and helping TU, who has written her book, Healing the Holes in Your Soul, about abuse, I went, wow. So I was told there are going to be 12 different arms, so to speak. And the first one is going to be about abuse. And I've asked her to be the director of working with women, children, and men who have been abused. And that's what we're working towards. We're getting ready to launch a big fundraiser, probably in the next 40 days or 45 days or sooner, which will be great because we'll be able to help a lot of women, children, and men. So I'm so honored to be part of it. So honored to have TU to be part of the International Institute. And we'll keep you more and more posted about the
I'm
wonderful things that are going to be happening.
I'm thrilled to be part of that as well.
Thank you.
Working with you is truly an honor and a blessing, not only to me, but all the people who I share life with. And what, these messages are just a piece of what Michael does. We'll tell you more at the end of this, but why don't we go ahead and get started?
Well, that's a great idea. Why don't we do that?
Our topic today is
Shadows. Some of you may be old enough to know the old program, The Shadow Knows. I used to love that as a kid, but back in the day when I was born, as the around Abraham Lincoln, and they first had the radio shows back in the early 1900s. But I really wanted to talk to you about shadows because you're probably wondering what shadows mean, or some of you may have guessed it. And shadows refer to you or to myself about those things that are in our past that come up to create doubt. And my goodness, the energy on the planet, the astrology on this planet, everything that's happening this is a time for shadows to come up in our life. And I always look at these things that come up in my life as something powerful, something healing, although I may grumble and I don't want to face it and don't want to look at it. And it's true, I don't sometimes want to. But I learned a long time ago, those of you know that I work with a true source, in order to prepare myself for all this kind of work, I had to have my shadows dealt with. And I will just share a little bit of my experience. So when the true source brought them up, and of course I didn't want to face it, and I was grumbling, and my heart rate was picking up, and I was sweating, and I was shaking, and I was angry, and blood pressure was way up, and upset, and fought it. And finally, after, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes, I said, I can't do this anymore. And I let it go and go, that was so easy. And then the others were brought up and I fought it for a few minutes or less and they were released and released. Now we still have shadows. All of us have shadows. And the shadows are those things that create doubt or things we're not, we're ashamed of, or maybe the shadows are failures or past relationships or anger or frustration or lack of self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. But all these shadows happen to us for a reason. And every once in a while, they pop up, their ugly head, and you have regress. You regress and feel the emotion of that shadow. Maybe you feel embarrassed or ashamed or whatever. And then it begins to control you, take you over, and you have a relapse. And the relapse is that old fear, that old doubt, that old insecurity, lack of self-worth, self-love, self-esteem comes up, boom, hits you right in the face. And that's really a gift. And I know some of you are thinking, who the heck needs a gift like that? And I would tell you, I agree with you. However, I have to also tell you the reason it's a gift is because you were given the opportunity to heal and clear it. And you don't have to do it this time. Then it'll pop up its ugly face 3 weeks, a month, a year later, and it'll keep coming up and coming up. Then it becomes more frequently coming up more and more and more and more and more and more. And it's like, okay, you want to deal with it or do you want to let it go? Well, then after a while, you have no choice. You have to deal with it. Because what happens is, as I've talked before, the fight, flight, or frozen syndrome. So first, there's the flight, you run away from it. Then the fight is you get really angry. And the frozen is you don't want to hear about it, and you're frozen and you don't move and you don't make any decision. But when we look at a decision, making no decision is a decision. Do you ever think about that? That's a decision. Making no decision is a decision. But after a while, if you view this wonderful shadow that comes in your life, it gives you a chance to heal, gives you a chance to move forward. It gives you a chance to release the past. And as I've said before, the past predicts the present, and the present predicts the future. Therefore, here are these shadows. They're popping up again, and you want to live in the past. And then you end up with this fight or flight or frozen, 3 Fs. Now, I want you to look at your life and look at these shadows. Why were shadows important in your life? Well, personally, I would say I can live without those. There's no problem with that one. But the basis is because I learned from it. I grew from it. Did you ever make mistakes? Remember the word mistake? No, there's no mistakes. You just learn something from it. That's all it is. And then same way of fear. Fear is false evidence appearing as real. So if we give power, in other words, the fear, the doubt, the insecurity, whatever emotion we feel to that shadow, it now owns us and it now can control and manipulate us. And probably you haven't thought about it, or maybe you have, but it's very much tied to your ego. EGO, edging God out. Well, look at the shadow as edging out God. It also is edging out your true essence. And your true essence, you were created out of love, by love, from love, and with love. Never ever forget that. No matter how dramatic your life is, how painful it is, you were created out of love, by love, from, and with love. Never ever forget that. So I hear some of you saying right now, yeah, well, if I was created by love, why do I have to go through this blah, blah, blah expletive shadow? And it's because you chose that experience to empower yourself. And you're probably saying, why the dickens did I do that one? Or you would use a different word.
What the heck was I
Yeah,
thinking?
exactly. But look at it this way. When you are prepared to incarnate, you're surrounded with all this love. And then you lay out your life. And these are the life lessons. We'll call them karma, experiences. But you're surrounded with love and you go, oh, piece of cake, piece of cake. I can handle it. I can do anything. And then you incarnate and you hit this beautiful, wonderful world, Lady Gaia, Mother Earth. And all of a sudden, you didn't realize that this is a planet of emotion. Oh my goodness. And emotion is really a gift. An emotion can heal, can make you sick, can make you wealthy, can bring about the love of your life, or it can make you poor, or sabotage yourself, or even end your life. Think about that. But the emotion boils down to, and that is the shadow of a lack of self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. I've talked about this before, but it comes in different colors. It means it comes in different ways in your life. And we are all on this planet, or almost all of us, at a precipice. And that precipice is, do we want to live in the shadow? Or do we really want to live in love and joy and happiness? I would say probably 99% of those listening to me now are close to that. I want to live in joy and happiness and prosperity and have fun, right? I agree with you. Me too. But unless we get rid of those shadows, they are forming walls. And first, these walls are maybe a half an inch thick or less. But as you avoid it, it becomes 1 inch, inch and a quarter, inch and a half. And by the time you reach a certain age, in mid 30s or 40s or up in the 50s, it's hundreds of feet thick. The message here is when you have a shadow, deal with it right away. Don't put it off. But our human nature is to put it off. Well, that's not really a bad thing. It just means the challenging of eliminating it is going to be more difficult.
So
You know,
can I say something?
just one moment. Tia wants to add something, but I asked for her to wait for a moment. When you put something off, you build layer after layer after layer after layer after layer. And layer after layer, all the experiences you have from your shadows that have stopped you from healing yourself. So my suggestion is when it comes up, deal with it right away. And if you don't deal with it right away, then it gets deeper and deeper because 94% of our thinking comes from our subconscious mind and 6% comes from the conscious mind. So you add layer after layer after layer after layer. Now you got to peel layer after layer after layer after layer. You know, they call it peeling the onion to get to the actual core. But before I talk about this anymore, I wanted to give Tia a chance to express herself. So go ahead.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to say that's another perspective on when we procrastinate. I mean, how often do we look at something and go, oh yeah, I'm not going to deal with it right now. and you shove it aside, and then you get busy in your life again. And then, that shadow rears its ugly head again. And oh no, not now, I'm busy. And you procrastinate. And I never really realized what you're saying was that you're building layers. And that issue, that shadow, becomes really, really, really ugly. And then it's even harder to chisel it away.
Exactly. And I would like to, I posted the other day something on Facebook. And I think it was the Dalai Lama or Buddha, I'm not sure which, so don't hold me to that. But the quote was, there's only 2 days a year that never exist, yesterday and tomorrow. They never exist. And that's really what you were talking about, procrastination. So the question is, how do I deal with it? How do I deal with the shadow in my life? Well, there's a great term that I like to use that I learned from someone else, and the term is reverse engineering. That's so powerful, the term. What does reverse engineering really mean? Well, you go back and figure out how it occurred in your life. Once you go back and say whatever happened, and you feel the energy and emotion of that, then you ask, what am I to learn from it? And as soon as you get the answer, then you declare, I've learned it, it's over with, the shadow can be gone. So be it. That's it. And then most of you go, well, that's too simple, Michael. Well, it is. Life is really simple. It's we humans who make a big deal about it. But when I say to you to say it's over and you've learned from it, no words, has to come from your heart. When it comes from your heart and you say it with great intention, with great strength and great love, then it's over and done with. But if you just utter the words, that's it. It doesn't work. One of the things I teach, and it was really interesting in teaching classes about protection, it's called your spiritual bubble of protection. And it works 100 plus times. And I had a student come, said she had an accident. And she said, it doesn't work. I go, oh, what'd you do? Well, I saw this guy was going to hit me, so I said, bubble up. Well, did you do it in the morning before you left the house? No, bubble up. Well, what does that mean? Used to be a soft drink called Bubble Up, by the way. So what does that really mean? Well, it's too many words to say. Well, you're absolutely right. That's why you had an accident. What'd you learn from this? And of course, she got very upset with me. She got upset with me because she's realizing she was wrong. But it's the fight or flight or frozen. She refused to admit she was wrong. So, you know what? There's an old saying, argue for your limitations and you own them. So I honored it for it. I did not criticize or put her down, but it was something she was to learn. And eventually she dropped out because she just thought it was too much work. I never knew what happened to her, but whatever happens, happened. And that's the shadow of our lives because we're running from it, fight or flight or frozen. We're running from the truth. And the truth is that you are created out of love, by love, from love, and with love. That's so important for you to realize. That's not a shadow, that's a truth. When I asked the true source, why is spirituality so difficult? True source said, you humans have to make a big deal out of everything. And I kind of chuckled, yeah, we do. Don't we make things more difficult than really what it is? Sometimes you tackle a project, right? Yeah, this is going to be so much work. Ah, and then you do it, and it's a lot of work. On the other hand, you say this is going to be a piece of cake, and I'm going to listen to my soul guidance. Bang, goes quickly, rapidly, and immediately. Maybe that instead of taking 10 days to do something, you do in 3 or 4 or 5. Makes no difference. Whatever needs to be done. So here we are, we have the naysayers who are living in the shadow because they're trying to prove they're right. Well, figuratively speaking, I've known people, this is a figure of speech, prove they're right, they go down with a ship that was sinking. Now, naturally, they weren't on a boat, that they would do things that would cause chaos in their life. And they nearly never, ever, ever won. Because why? Argue for your limitations and you own them. Prove a point. Why prove a point? You know, if it's successful, why change it? You know, when you're baking a cake and you follow the directions, right? You can maybe change a little bit. But if you don't follow the basics, what happens is the cake won't rise. You won't have a good tasting cake. And I know people that do that or bake a bread. And we need to understand that there are certain immutable rules, things that can't be changed, that enhance your life. And one of them is understanding why you have the shadows in your life, because they're there to teach you and actually educate you and improve and change your life and free you up from the chains of fear and doubt. How are we doing on time?
Oh, we've got about another 5 minutes before we have to wrap it up.
All right.
But that's like, if it's okay,
Sure.
it's like what you're saying is, why reinvent the wheel? If you already know the wheel is working, and there's so many different benefits from it, why would you spend the time to reinvent something that's already working?
That's a good question. Why would you do that? There are some people that, maybe they'll add bearings to wheels so they go smoother and grease and things like that. But they really haven't changed the wheel. It's still circular, still accomplishes the same thing. But some people think they want to choose different directions to prove a point. And part of the shadow is our ego. Remember I said ego edging God out? Well, you know what? I want to be right. I don't want to be wrong. And that means that I have to listen to whatever somebody else is saying, but also listen to the thoughts of my soul, and also what I call true inner source guidance. You will never, ever go wrong unless you listen to your ego. And I want to sum this up because I know we got a few minutes left. And that is reverse engineer. Whatever that shadow is, ask how you learned it, what I learned from it, how can it change my life, and acknowledge from deep within you, I've learned it, I understand it, I bless and release it with love. And then just let everything happen and let it go of it. Sometimes it takes moments, seconds. Sometimes it would take 2 or 3 days. And I'm wondering, why does it take 2 or 3 days? I can understand not moments or seconds, 10, 20 minutes, maybe a little longer. And then I realize what's happening. And what I realize what's happening is the reason it's taking longer is caused the D word, doubt. Doubt. Did I do it right? Did I really release it? Am I worthy of it? Should I let go of it? Well, guess what? You just manifested another shadow. Congratulations. Look how powerful you are. You manifested that in your life.
Did your ego do that?
Absolutely. Good point. Your ego did it right away. So stop thinking about it. Just know, like water is wet, period, it's wet. It's not salty. It's not dry. It's not greasy. It's wet, period. Even salt water is wet. And even polluted water, brown water, it's wet. So keep things very simple. The more simple you keep your life, the more easy your life becomes. I want to thank all of you so much for listening to us. And I want to thank to you for being here and adding her words of wisdom as well. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for your wisdom as well. And you know what? White is white.
White is white. It is what it is.
It is. There's different shades of everything, but you know what? White is still white.
Exactly.
Why complicate it, right?
White would I want to do that anyway?
Okay. What I'm going to do here is we're going to give you a few phone numbers and let you know exactly. Do you need some water?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. What we're going to do is talk to you a little bit about the other things that Michael offers us. And I highly encourage all of you. Wait a minute. Did I say thank you for your message?
You did now.
I was thinking white is white. Okay. And a wheel is round.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Going back to what Michael does a call in every Tuesday night at 6:30. So why don't you tell the people a little
Yes.
bit about it?
I call the Words of Wisdom. It's 6:30 p.m. and it's Pacific time. And it gives you an opportunity for 1 hour from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. to ask questions, and hopefully I can answer them. And then I deliver Words of Wisdom, a 10-minute message, which is recorded and can be accessed. And you can listen to it when you're stuck in traffic, feeling depressed, angry, or just want something motivational. And there are 255, 256. But before I cover that part, on the Tuesday night call-in, let's give you the numbers so you can contact us. And the number is?
The number is 202-926-1059. And
The access code is 125-446-pound.
Do you practice in front of the mirror?
All the time. No, not at all.
He's too funny. Okay, one more time. That number is 202-926-1059.
And the access code is 125-446-pound.
Okay. Now, the recordings can be accessed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that number is 434-300-4170 with the same access code.
125-446-pound.
I'll give that number one more time. It's 434-300-4170.
And the access code is 125-446-pound.
Now, would you like to tell them what you do the second Saturday of every month?
Well, if you insist.
I think you should.
The second Saturday of every month, I do what I call a mass consciousness healing. And again, it's 9:55 a.m. Pacific time to 11:01 p.m. Pacific time. So it's an hour and 6 minutes. I talk for the first 5 to 7 minutes while people sign on. And then we go into silence, deep, deep silence, in which we bring through the love from the true source. We act as a conduit to bring that energy through our souls, through our hearts, to everything that exists on this planet, the animal, mineral, and vegetable kingdom, humans, all of us, and to change the vibrations. Because I will tell you, my personal goal is to get 1% of the population to embrace the true source's unconditional love, to reconnect with the true source, not religiosity way, but in a spiritual way, which is very, very powerful. And then it will spread like wildfire. 1% is a very small number, but with 8 billion people, 8.5, whatever it is, it's a large number. It's almost like what we call the 100th monkey syndrome. So I invite all of you. And that number is, on the second Saturday of every month, 202.
I know, I've got something to add. It's 202-926-1059 access code.
Or same as the call in, 125-446-pound. And go ahead, add what you would like, please.
We know we're all in energy.
Yes.
Everything is an energy. So wouldn't it make sense when we all dial in from wherever we are in the world to this conference number that we gave you, that we are now joining our energies together through this phone call to bring mass consciousness healing to Mother Earth, right?
Exactly.
So it is important to share this number with your friends, invite them to it, and let them also have an experience, because at the end of doing this, Michael always has a couple words at the end, and he brings us back with beautiful music. And we feel there's an amazing reward that comes from this when we do this. It's only one Saturday a month. You know, clearly our planet needs us to come together and share the energy of love.
Well said. Thank you for doing that. Yes.
You're welcome.
It is so important. You know, I find it mind-boggling that we are doing the mass consciousness healing, and so many have joined us. Others don't find the time or doesn't have the time. And I remember when Jesus Christ called people together, or the great orators and the great people, the spiritual people, the avatars. You know what they did to get people to come? Free food. Nothing has changed. Free food and they'll come. Well, most of them will come. And I'm going, my gosh, is that the way? So I want you to look at this way. The true source is giving you free food of love and healing, that you are a conduit that will change your life and on this planet. Look at what's going on. Hear what's going on. It's not only the United States. I talk to people in foreign countries. They're all going through the same thing in one way or another. Some more difficult than we are here in the States, and others less difficult. But they're all going through this chaos. And you know, I always talk about you are the solution. We can make a difference. We are making a difference. We need to gather as a team. And one of the ways is the mass consciousness, because it will warm your heart, change your vibrations, and look at yourself as you are contributing something so powerful. Remember that. So pass it on, and remember, as you do the work of the true source, everything will be supplied to you. And that's part of doing the work of the true source. So thank you for letting me go on my soapbox.
No,
Thank you for letting me share this. Do you want to share anything else?
I do. My mom always said, leave the world a bit better than it was when you got here. And this is one way that you can. And on that note, I'm going to go back because we missed something regarding the recordings. When you dial into the recording number, you'll have an option to go ahead and select a call number, a recording number. And Michael, do you want to tell them?
Yes. So on the replays, as I call it, the words of wisdom, it starts at number 3 and goes up to 255 or 256. Your intuition will tell you, just push a button. I can't tell you how many people said, I don't know, I did number 10 or 15 or number 25 or 150. Just the message I needed, just what I needed to hear. What does that tell you? It means that your soul is working with the true source for a message to help heal and change your life and motivate your life. So with that in mind, I want to thank all of you. And remember, this wonderful podcast is being brought to you by Healing the Holes in Your Soul.
And start here with the beautiful spiritual primer. And his new book will be out very, very soon. We'll keep you on top of that when it's actually available. We're looking forward to chatting with you guys all again next Sunday. Any final words, Michael?
No, I want to thank all of you. My final words are, remember, you're created of love, by love, and from love, and with love. And with that thought in mind, remember, you are unlimited. Namaste.
Namaste.
Have a great week, everybody. We love you.
Take care.